Well, Lauren Jones, you should be off your phone by now. How the hell are you today?
I totally am, teacher. The teacher just became the student, really, is what's happening.
Oh, the teacher. Oh, yeah, that's fair. No, I agree with that. I'm not going to dispute that you're a teacher. Okay. Well, Lauren, welcome. Guys, it is September 24th, 2024. Kind of serendipitous with two 24s here. Feeling very much like Kobe. I know Lauren doesn't get that reference. Maybe she does. Lauren, how are we doing on the Kobe reference?
Kobe was a great basketball player, and he passed away in a helicopter accident with his daughter.
Amazing. Thank you for bringing the mood down and not just celebrating how amazing Kobe was.
That's all I know, though.
I just don't know. Sometimes I don't know, Lauren. Sometimes I don't know what to do. Okay. Well, the good news is we're actually streaming on. I think we're streaming on LinkedIn. The last two times we did not, which was not fun. Yeah, we're actually here. We're good. Okay.
Okay, that's awesome.
We've got a great show for you today. We're going to cover the news as always first. Then we're going to talk about AI and automation. Lauren is going to tell us about her cooking recipes and her cookbook that she's making for her daughter, who's in law school. It's beautiful. Maybe we'll want to syndicate this and send it out to everybody. Lauren did tell us, though, like any good Gigi, that she does not write recipes down, which is why she's bad at baking, because baking is a science and then cooking is a to taste thing. So she's great to taste. She's terrible with science.
I'm not a good baker. There's a couple things that I can make really well, like apple pie bars. I'm awesome at that.
I like that.
Yes. I'm awesome at apple pie bars. I'm awesome at like Butterfinger Muddy Buddies, like not too exact, but if it's something that requires egg whites at a specific temperature and you've got to do complex things to make it like a meringue or something like that, I think it's just way above my pay scale. But I'm a really, really good cook.
Definitely above my pay scale too. Don't worry.
Yeah. And so Allie had me some of her favorite recipes. So I'll share with the audience because I know you're all dying to know. So I make a really mean homemade macaroni and cheese with white cheddar and Gruyere.
Lauren's from Texas, by the way. So
I know. Sense. So my Mima has really rich food. I make an amazing jambalaya. Let me just tell you that.
Your accent's amazing right now.
I know. I make a mean corn chowder with homemade cornbread.
How much andouille sausage is in this jambalaya? That's all I want.
Oh my gosh, yes. And there's a shrimp creole that my Mima used to make. I have her original recipe card in her handwriting.
Oh, nice. Well, that's awesome. You know, one of my favorite commercials about AI is that commercial with I think they're Japanese, but it's like the grandma's recipe that's written down in the kanji and you can't read it because it's like half erased, and they use AI to actually fill it in and it's correct.
Oh my goodness. Well, and then the other one so I make really good lasagna. My husband's Italian, so I have to make, good cannoli and good.
Never know with the last name
manicotti and good. I don't make cannolis, but
I'm also Italian too with the last name Mann. So there you go.
Yes.
Neither of which sounds very Italian.
It doesn't. Oh, well, Jones is completely and totally
Italiano.
Italiano.
No. What's his mother's maiden name?
Garfolo.
That is very Italian. Mine is Sicardi. So there you go.
Yeah.
You can't get any more vowels and double consonants.
Right.
So, all right. Anyway, so Lauren, my news is that I am committed to making a video every weekday until the end of the year. Obviously, holidays not included. That has to do with the industry. So I am on day 4 or 5. I think 5. We have a really funny outtake from the transcription at the end of the episode that we'll show you, and we'll read it to you if you're obviously, not on video.
Be careful with the transcription just out of the box. Make sure that you read it.
What's funny is I read most of it. I read all of it today because of that, but I did not read that one. Obviously, I did fix a few words in that transcription.
Yeah,
so
they're not always accurate.
Shame on me. All right. In other news for related people, now that we've been jib-and-jabbing for 5 minutes, it's conference season, Lauren, which is one of your least/favorite times of the year, where it is really hard to schedule time on Lauren's calendar Because she's going to every goddamn conference. So Lauren, last week you went to Staffing Industry.
I went to GIGI, Staffing Industry Analyst GIGI. I was speaking there on AI. So I did a panel with Leslie Vickery's husband, Colin Williams.
Oh, nice.
He's an attorney. Yeah. And
how's his SaaS company doing?
Great. Yeah. And what he's doing with
it's e-discovery stuff.
Yeah, I like an AI. Like he's a wealth of knowledge. And we were talking about the legalities of AI and what agencies should do to protect themselves. And we also had
what a relevant speaker.
Brian Hoffmeyer from Beeline on the panel as well, and then Christian from SIA. We had a really great response, really great questions from the audience. And, one of the primary questions, and I think this is relevant to our audience, was where's the low-hanging fruit from a legal standpoint? Like, where are we most vulnerable to be sued when it comes to the leveraging AI? And so Colin and I were kind of going back and forth on where we think some of the lowest hanging fruit is. Obviously, bias is going to be a big one. That's why New York is passing legislation about auditing and, ensuring that you're doing everything that you can, whether it's multiple data points, multiple data scientists, depending upon how you're gathering data. But you do need to be asking vendors how they're protecting you, AI vendors, how they're protecting you, against litigation or potential litigation or legal action around bias or discrimination. So that's one of the pieces of low-hanging fruit. And obviously PII, right? In this particular industry, we touch so much data and harbor so much data. And data protection is going to continue to be which is why, when it first started making waves, as we came into the end of 2022, we built the course in early 2023 that was just about foundational and responsible use. Responsible, with great power comes great responsibility, Spider-Man. And I say that all the time because it's very, very true. This is open. A lot of these tools are open source, and you need to understand what that means. It's just like social media. If you put it out there, it's out there forever. Someone's taken a screenshot. Someone's recorded it. Somebody's done something with it. You have to assume. So anything that you put into these open source tools, other people can get out. And so, we think those are some vulnerabilities from a legal standpoint in our industry. And then one of the other good questions, it was interesting that we were asked, and I came back with an answer I think everybody thought would be very different. One of the questions was, how are we going to solve culture problems with AI? How are we going to, change businesses with AI? And AI is not your culture coach. Right. My answer to that was there are some things AI can fix, and there are some that can contribute to or enhance or what have you. Your culture is not one of them.
I think culture around technology.
Sure. Agree.
Making it exciting for the team, giving them something to go be
culture
curious
around
about.
Change for sure.
Yeah.
Culture around change for sure.
Really terrible transcription.
No, it's. I think that people have to be very careful with this idea that AI is going to fix everything or AI can be applied everywhere. It cannot. It should not. And human intervention. We talk about this all the time. There's a lot of fear mongering in the mainstream media, just in general. I have a very hateful.
Lauren, let's not just keep moving. Keep it moving.
I know, with mainstream media, just because I don't like that they fearmonger. AI is going to steal 80,000 jobs. It's going to create 95,000 jobs, right? So we have to understand the other side of that. So there were some really interesting questions asked. There was a really engaged audience. It was a really great panel. The conference overall was interesting. It was a little quieter this year. And I think that's, just a representation of kind of where we are, in the market. But it was really good. Obviously, one of the highlights was Barry. Barry always starts the conference with some really great data, and this conference was no different. Obviously, a lot of conversation around AI. So I won't bore you with all of the details, but that was one of the highlights for me, was Barry's opening keynote.
Awesome. Well, that's usually kind of a good one too for me. So anyway, well, Lauren, along with that, this week you're going to TEBNet. So
this week I'm going to TempNet. I'm keynoting.
And that's in Nashville. Or you're keynoting?
That's in Nashville, and I'm
I didn't know you were keynoting.
I am keynoting.
What are you talking about, AI?
With Henna Pryor.
Oh, you're keynoting with Henna.
Well, we're doing it. So I'm doing a 3-hour session. So it's 2 90-minute sessions.
I almost threw up.
I know, right? The first half is on digital transformation and optimization. And then the second half is on AI and practical applications for AI. So a bit of a keynote workshop, or at least I want to workshop it a little bit and not talk at people for 90 minutes. That's absurd. So we're going to do... so we're going to do a little workshopping. Then Henna will keynote the next day, and then we're doing a fireside chat on AI.
Oh boy!
Yeah.
All right.
So I'm excited about that.
I'm excited too about AI. All right. Then we have Staffing World coming up, which we're attending together.
We are. I'm doing a workshop at Staffing World. And I think about AI.
Am I a part of this workshop? I think I'm assuming.
Yeah, probably, yes. Right. And then we have TechServe. Then we're coming into TechServe, which I'm overjoyed about TechServe this year.
I think Healthcare Staffing Summit's before TechServe. It's the first week of November.
And then there's another one I'm doing ASG in November.
That's where's that? Is that in? That's not in Charlotte. That was earlier.
Kentucky? No, I don't know.
Kentucky. No, it was last year. That's when you got stuck in Lexington.
That's when I got stuck in Lexington. Yes, and I had to go to the other airport.
Yeah. Anyway, well, TechServe, we're excited. It's going to be in good old Arizona.
Yes, it'll be hot. But yes, I'm really excited.
By the way, it's winter in Arizona, so hot is not a thing.
Right.
But maybe.
There's going to be some really great content there. Rob is going to be doing some of the social content there. So get excited about Rob being there.
And then if you are going to TechServe and you like pickleball, me and Erin McKenzie from Newberry will be trying to organize a game.
Okay, good. I will ttell you this. We have an exciting panel coming at TechServe that doesn't have anything to do with AI.
Whoa!
I know, right?
Well, by the way, I'm on at Staffing World. I'm part of the staffing and recruiting Family Feud game session that they're doing.
I can't wait. That's going to be so fun. But the panel is on your tech stack and your valuation. So I know. Yeah, I'm excited about that. We, are now talking to a ton of PE firms. I do private consulting and advisory work with PE firms. So I'm really excited about that because, your tech stack matters when it comes to your valuation. And so I'm really excited to evangelize that message a little bit.
Yep. Oh, right. So that's the conference wrap up. We talk a lot about conferences, but Lauren talks a lot about AI. In webinar news, Lauren and I are on a panel together for a webinar hosted by our good friends over at Cloud Call. If you are watching the video.
You missed one. Last week was a big week.
What was it?
Dreamforce.
Oh, I'm going to do that on AI and that's AI and that's on the AI automation section. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll get there. Don't worry.
I have total FOMO.
I have visual aids here. All right.
I'm so excited.
Okay, so if you scan this QR code that I just threw up, I'll put the link in the show notes for anyone who's not watching us live. How dare you? But Lauren and I are doing a Cloud Call webinar talking about the importance of basically being able to extract really key insights from conversational data. So as we get more and more into this world where we've had Zoom calls recorded for a long time and analyzed, but now your just regular calls can be analyzed. Those things can be pulled into a more useful state. You can make decisions and get insights from them. So very excited for that. Love talking about that stuff. So check that out. And the link is under the QR code if you want it. All right, Lauren, The Indicator, not from Planet Money, which is a show I do listen to, by the way. But these staffing and recruiting indicators. So I'm just going to actually pull up my screen here because I think it's going to be fun. There we go. All right. So makes it a little bit easier for us to take a look at it. I don't know if that's very visible, Lauren, for you.
Yeah, I can see it.
So U.S. staffing is up week on week 6.6%. So we actually climbed. Last week was a massive downer, by the way. So we won't, or like 2 weeks ago. It's 2 weeks before. But commercial so U.S. staffing and commercial are both down year on year 8% still. So we climbed up from the 10 or the 12 that we were at. Week over week, we did a little bit better. Commercial staffing is up week over week 6.7. Professional staffing is still down 12% year over year, but it did climb 5.9 week over week. If we go back to last week's, it was all bad news. I don't know if you can see it, but it was all down last week. So a little bit better. So
I am hearing a little bit of optimism. I'll say that this year has been a very long sales cycle for any project that we have. But I'm hearing a little more optimism. I'm hearing about the desire to spend as we go towards the end of the year. So this is very exciting for us, obviously. But I think just more than anything, just hearing more optimism, I think, is what I've been looking for.
Yeah, I think we're getting there.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, last week, the week ending September 7th, staffing was down. U.S. overall staffing was down 8%, and week over week it was down 7.6. So we climbed out of the hole like 12 points somehow.
Yep.
So
I'll take it.
We climbed out. Yeah, we climbed out of the hole in both U.S. and commercial. Professional climbed out of the hole only 4 points. Or even they were down 9, so they climbed out a lot. They climbed out like 13, 14 points week over week. So much better. All right. With that, let's get to our fake commercial, but also our featured technology of the week, which Lauren is excited about. So Lauren.
Yes, I'm really excited about this. And if you're interested in it, please reach out to me directly. We have a discount code. One of the things that's bothered me about advisory work, consulting work, is I've wanted a leave behind. Like we'll give all of these recommendations and, we create all of this infrastructure. We may shepherd a client through with our project management services through an implementation. We may help get them trained. We may help them implement WhatFix for better adoption. We do all of these things. When we're doing something really tangible where there's a software leave behind, I feel really good about that. But I've always felt like, who's going to watch it when we're gone, right? Who's going to keep an eye on it? So we have a lot of return customers, which is fantastic. We have a lot where we do our annual retainer. We have a once a year tech stack evaluation. It's not terribly expensive. It's, every January or or every July is kind of when we do it, just dependent upon the customer. But coming in and doing the audit. And I've often thought, unless you're on our annual retainer or our annual program, who's watching over this? And so for the last 3 years, I had really been looking for something. Rob and I had invested in a product that we thought might be able to help us do what I was looking to do. And that was like an oversight committee of your tech stack. Well, we found it. We found it in a tool called License Logic. And I got to give Lee Boline complete and total credit. He's always keeping his eye out for new stuff, new things I'll dig into. But we're really excited about that. We've signed a formal partnership with them. And I'm even excited about potentially white labeling it like Leap Logic. We love it so much. So
it's still LL. Good job.
It's still LL, right? So here is what it does. It is your Leap oversight committee of your tech stack. It is through single sign-on or API connection. It is looking at utilization of each of the applications in your tech stack. It is looking at your spend, right? So what is in, you can upload the contracts. It's leveraging AI to read those contracts. It can help you. And this is what I deal with my clients all the time. So we do a lot of contract negotiation for our clients. And oftentimes I get the phone call, oh shit, my contract's up in 2 weeks. You have already lost if you are negotiating on your heels. I'm going to tell you that right now. If it's 2 weeks before your contract is ended, right, you are already on your heels. You've lost. You're going to have to pay the annual increase. You're going to have to pay, and so this is managing expiration dates. This is categorizing to look at maybe some duplicative overspend or duplicative function. I'm really, really bullish on how impactful I think this can be in just having that administrator. It'll also be the administrator of your users. So if someone is no longer with the organization, right, it can help manage those users. So like I said, I'm really bullish. We've signed a formal partnership with them. We have a discount code. I go as far as to say, inevitably, maybe I can get Licensed Logic to let us white label it. Because I just feel like this is the perfect leave behind, whether it's Licensed Logic or Leave Logic, right? We're staying behind to manage that tech stack for you, to help you manage cost, to help you manage utilization, to help you manage overspend. And so, again, Licensed Logic, you can see it below. We're very, very excited about our new partnership with them. We already have a half a dozen customers interested in it. And so I think it's going to take our world by storm.
Yeah. And you can reach out to Lauren or myself to learn more.
Correct.
We will be happy to leap and license some Logic.
We're very excited. Very excited.
Triple L now.
I don't get to, I nerd out over everything because I love technology, but this one really speaks to,
she's just a big data nerd, guys. Don't let her fool you.
I am. I love technology. I'm ready for Elon to put the chip in my brain.
Whoa.
I am. I'm ready for it.
Are you really?
I am. I'm totally ready for it.
I don't trust Elon enough anymore, but two, it's my brain. I love one of so those. Much. You're also your brain cells don't regenerate like the rest of your body, Lauren. Just
I'm ready
FYI.
for it. I'm ready for it. Put it on my shoulder, wherever you want it.
Yeah, that might be better. Like right in the old spine. Let's do that.
There you go.
L4,
L5. I learn it.
Who needs L4 and L5? All right. That's where most people get their disc herniated. Okay, let's talk about AI and automation.
Let's do it. And people, there is a difference between AI and automation.
There is, but we're mostly going to talk about AI today. And everybody got real big announcing things. This is one of the videos that I did for my videos of the day, or videos a day. And we had Dreamforce, which is Salesforce's annual conference in San Francisco this past week. They take over the entire city. It's quite obnoxious. And they announced Agent Force, which I was going to create a theme song for, like a James Bond style, like, dun, 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 but I didn't do that. But it's a great name, and we should totally make the agents like Bond agents. One of my favorite things to do when I play pickleball, by the way, Lauren, because you have to say your score, your opponent's score, and then which server you are, if you're playing doubles and there's two servers. So when you start a game, it's like sometimes it's 001. And I'm always like, 001 is probably like the hot chick.
Yeah. Well, okay. So I was very, very stuck on your New Jersey accent and pickleball.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah. Did I give a good one? I love it when I do a good one.
You had a good Jersey swear there. Hey.
All right. So with all that said and done, if you want to look at Agent Force and their new website for it, which is amazing, here you go. So here's the new Agent Force website, which again should be a Bond series. I'm not sure why they didn't set a whole bunch of like cartoons up for this to launch it. But you can do all kinds of fun things. So I think this whole idea of AI agents is something that Salesforce and both HubSpot talked about a lot last week. I have not gone through all the Agent Force stuff, which I will soon, but very exciting. So you can grab it here. There's also a link for you on the QR code over my head right now if you're watching the video live feed. But yeah, AI agents to do things like engage with prospects 24/7, resolve customer inquiries. What else did they do? Provide personalized sales coaching. What else can we do? Authorize personalized product recommendations. So you can build agents that can have a conversation and then make recommendations, whether that's sales, marketing, product, services, and support. You have an agent for everything. So I'm really excited to see in my brain, really excited to see how Descript translates or transcribes what I just said.
Agents.
How do I say it? Do I say agents, or does it sound like the other word?
It's soft the way you say it.
Soft. All right, I'll make it a little harder. G. Yeah, hard G.
Yeah, okay. G. You really need to go G.
All right, whatever. Anyway, so Agent Force by Salesforce, very exciting. Lauren, is there anything you would like to add about Agent Force?
Well, so first of all, I had complete and total FOMO to all of my friends that were at Dreamforce. I just cannot find a way to be two places at once. With Geeky, I know, and Dreamforce happening. I think next year what I'm going to do, though, is split my time. I will, just fly in. I'm usually speaking at Geeky, and I am ever grateful to them to continuing to reach out to me as a resource, and hopefully that continues next year. And so I think next year I'm going to split my time and do half at Dreamforce and half at Geeky, just because it's right in my backyard. There's just no good gosh darn reason that I shouldn't go.
I agree. HubSpot's Inbound is also in San Francisco next year. I might buy myself a ticket so I can go, because I will
buy you a ticket and you can go.
Very excited to go there. I wanted to go to Boston, but I got womped. I thought I was going, and then I got womped. No longer story, so we're not going to talk about it. I'm still a little sad.
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay, but HubSpot also introduced AI into their platform called Breeze, and then they have Breeze Copilot. So they did a little better than all the other idiots who named their freaking AI tool the same goddamn thing, Copilot. So if you're one of those idiots who makes way more money than I do, good job. It's like, hey, what's the name of staffing company? Integrity. No offense, by the way, but also overused. So there's Breeze AI agents in HubSpot all over the place. Lauren is oh my godding me. She's holding her hand over her mouth right now.
Like I say a lot of stuff, but
over the level of sass that I just dropped. Come on. Like the integrity thing was more funny, tongue in cheek. The Copilot thing is ridiculous.
I cannot. I have no comment.
Okay. Do you agree with me though about the Copilot thing?
I cannot. I will not.
You definitely agree with me. Guys, that's agreeing. All right. So anyway, this is really exciting.
We're a neutral firm.
What? We can make fun of everybody.
We can. That's right. Everybody's fair game.
So what I found interesting, and maybe a little bit of different strategy here, is that so they have Breeze Copilot, but then they also have this thing now called Agent.ai. They're both part of HubSpot. So if you want to, you can check out Agent.ai.
Is wicked cool.
Yeah, you can check it out without being a HubSpot customer. It's like its own product. So it's kind of interesting because obviously you can do Trailblaze or courses, which I'm assuming Agent Force has in the Trailblazer and your Trailheads for Salesforce. But Agent.ai is like this whole new thing where like you don't even need a Trailblazer like learning license. You can just use these as the general public. So kind of a different strategy about how they're deploying agents. But both HubSpot and Salesforce have agents, AGENTS, in. You guys are going to get why I keep doing that in a second here. They have them embedded into their systems now, as well as AI everywhere. Our good friends over at Bullhorn could not be, I guess they saw the hype train on AI. So they released a new white paper. So I want to show that too, which is kind of exciting. And I'll put the link up so you guys can check it out if you're a Bullhorn
They're doing some really cool things as well.
Yeah. I'm excited too. This was just like, so the link to this white paper is what's on that QR code. I thought I put it up. Hold on. There we go. It's over my head again. So reimagining how the hiring workflow through Bullhorn and they give you, which I love that they do this, but they give you a day in the life of the recruiter and how AI will impact the business. So very exciting. If you haven't
They
checked out
really
the white,
do speak to the user with white papers like this, which I think are really exciting because they're very relatable.
yeah, this map is
And,
nice.
yeah, and I think Bullhorn does a good job of trying to understand the user, the everyday user, not the administrator, not the buyer, but the everyday user. And this is a perfect example of that.
Maybe they'll change the name from Copilot on the way out here. All
It's
right.
not Copilot though; it's Copilot. I'm just really surprised you didn't know that.
I think Jason, is that the joke they made? Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, by the way, the arrows look much better in this infographic than in previous ones. So shout out to Jay Cutler. Right? Do you like those arrows better? And
I
shout out
love
to
the arrows. Very clear. Very
Jay
concise.
Bedard. Good work. Way to fix the arrows. No comment about that otherwise. Moving on, because this show is more and more inappropriate by the second. Lauren. All right.
Yes. Okay,
So that's what we
I want to interview you, Rob. I have a couple questions.
About, oh God.
I know, right?
It's surprising.
It's not planned, I know.
Huh, okay.
I
want
to interview you about being a new dad. So what is the best part of being a new dad?
Well, okay, how about I just tell you what I've been thinking about recently, since that's been on my mind. Working from home is great, being a new dad, because, and this is like first world problems, but both sets of our parents are alive, and they both live within 5 minutes of each other, which is about 22, 25 minutes away from us. Mm-hmm. So on any given day, I can see one set of in-laws. I see, like, my in-laws are here right now with baby man. But yesterday, my parents were here all day with baby man. And then some days they split duty. So, but more importantly, like, if she's crying and I'm not doing anything, I can go grab her and give her a little pat on the back or walk her around, give her a bottle. By the way, shout out to the prospect that Lauren and I were on the phone with at 5 o'clock yesterday, who watched me burp and feed baby man during our call. I think she loved it, by the way.
Yeah.
She was very sweet. So yeah, I think working remotely and not missing a lot of, like, I don't know how you feel about this, Lauren, right? But like, you were like gung-ho work lady and you went right back to work.
5 weeks.
Yeah, that's crazy. Mandy had 12. Mandy, I think, was excited to go back to work. I think she likes being independent and doing that kind of stuff. So as much as she's like super mom when she's here, she's also excited to like re-energize and talk to humans and adults when she's not here. And then maybe the other part about being a new dad is I probably am not mature enough to be a father. Another thing I've been dealing with. I'm like, how I'm responsible for this tiny human, which she's very sweet. But yeah, I'm excited to grow, because I've definitely realized that I need to grow up a little bit.
What's the one thing you want to protect her from?
Well,
so one thing that I always had like this heartbeat in the back of my brain, like, of things I wanted to protect my girls from.
I don't really know if there's anything. I've always had this thought that I'm not going to be. I probably will be, but like, I've always thought that I shouldn't be overly protective. I think the biggest thing for me is I've watched enough high school children behave. So showing up to as many events as humanly possible, because the only thing they care about for my high school kids, and I learned this really interesting way, I think I've told you the story, is just giving them time. Mm-hmm. Right? The one thing you can do is give your kids time. Especially when they're in middle school and high school. I had a female student who, it was like 3 months into the year. Like, I noticed she was pretty funny, but she wanted attention from class. Mm-hmm. And 3 months into the year, she get, "Hey, Mr. Man," like beginning of class. She's like, I'm like, "Hey, what's up?" She goes, "I saw my parents for the first time in a month at midnight last night." I'm like, holy crap. Like, no wonder you need attention from adults. Like,
saw her parents
for the first time. Like, I'm sure she talked to them, but she hadn't seen them. They were on a trip for a month. I don't know what I never asked if they were working or vacationing, but
goodness.
I worked at I worked from like, the school had like people who were on scholarship who were very, middle class and below, to like the guy's kid who sold Alamo car rental for $900 million and like lived on the water in like a giant mansion with maids. So like, the dichotomy of the human that I dealt with was pretty great, because you could see both. There was shout out to all the kids that went to St. Thomas. I've never seen like families just adopt like their friends. Like if it didn't matter wealthy or poor, like if you were friends with a kid and like they had means, you were everywhere with them. So it was really cool to see that too. But yeah, that
so
time.
What I'm hearing you say is it taught you that you need to give kids time, your time.
Yeah. And then other than that, I just hope she fucks up in like ways that aren't permanent, but she fucks up a lot in ways that aren't permanent just because it's more fun that way. Yeah.
That's a great lesson. Failure is not something to be afraid of. I tried to teach my girls that all the time. You said something about showing up, and I have a little story for everybody. And so if you're a parent or even just a human, I think this is a good lesson in showing up. So, my husband and I used to say, we just have to show up for our girls, no matter what it is. If it's something they're going through that's hard on them, if it's an event, you just have to show up. And we've repeated that to our kids over the years. The lesson was no more demonstrated than with Allie's college experience, or law school experience. And I don't know, maybe I've shared the story. I don't know. But I think you kind of know it. She applied to 35 schools. She wanted to apply to 35 schools. And we told her, hell no, like that. You have any, the average application,
$35,000.
Right. I mean, the average application is like, $275, $300, whatever. And so I said, you have a budget of $1,200. Figure it out. And so she got on some Reddit pages and figured out that all you had to do was call or send a formal email to ask for a fee waiver. And so she applied to 35 schools. She was under her $1,200 budget. We started getting, I think Albany was the first one that came back. We put a deposit down because she's like, worst case, I'm going to New York, right? Like just the worst case. And it was the first school she was terrified of getting denied at specific locations, but she had a top five. Top five was, Boston, a couple schools in Boston. Boston had, I think, 2 or 3 top schools. And then it was Texas A&M and USC.
USC being South Carolina.
Yeah, USC, the original USC, and Hastings. She gets waitlisted at Hastings. She gets a scholarship from one in Boston. The scholarship which is great. It's awesome. She didn't get into another Boston school. We were still waiting from Texas A&M. USC comes back and puts her on the wait list. And this must have been a Tuesday when she got this. And so I said, you know what? We have the weekend free. Let's just go show up. And she's like, what do you mean? Let's go on a tour to USC if you have a good feeling about it. Because she had made a comment. She's like, I have a feeling about USC. And I was like, all right, well, if you've got a feeling, let's follow that instinct. Your gut's never wrong. Let's go show up. And look, we definitely speaking from a place of privilege because I was able to use points and get us a trip out there because the last minute trip to the East Coast is expensive, right? So used a bunch of American Express points. We went down there on a Friday. And she scheduled a tour for Monday morning. We get there, we do the whole Charleston thing. We kind of went apartment hunting, kind of got our bearings, just to kind of see the area. She fell in love with the area. It was kind of like when she had found her college. I knew when I saw her face on campus that she had sort of found where she felt like she was situated, she could fit in. Anyway, so we do the tour on Monday. Just so happens it's finals week. And the only person that can do the tour is the director of admissions, Tyler. Shout out to Tyler. And because there were no students available because it was finals week. And I'm thinking to myself as a mom, I'm like, all I have to do is meet her. Like, she's awesome. Like, trust me, right? Like you don't want her on the wait list because she's amazing. But, I'm a mom, so I think all my kids are amazing. So we go through the whole tour, and then he sits us down at the end of the tour and he says, look, we do not prioritize our wait list. It's not a weighted wait list. And I'm so impressed that you came out here. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate that you sort of came out here last minute from all the way from California. It's completely across, the universe. And, but I can't make any promises. We went up, 30 points in the standings. And so we've had a record number of applicants this year. And we have like 400 kids on a wait list. And, so we left and, because I could see she was kind of welling up a little bit as we were walking out. And I was like, no, we showed up. We did everything that we could do. Right. You did all the things and you just showed up. So we came back on Monday after the tour. We were flying back that evening. And she sent her thank you note. And no sooner did she send her thank you note than Wednesday morning, she gets a phone call from Tyler that says, I went to the dean. You are our people and we must have you. And the fact that you showed up, you came out here, you expressed, extreme interest. It just speaks a lot to you and to your character. So my lesson to all parents, just show up. And make sure you pass that down to your kids, because showing up these days is half the frickin' battle.
Yep. All right. And after that great story, it's time for me to bring us down into the mud again.
All right. Do it.
Yes, Lauren. And that's an amazing story. But let's end on a silly note here.
Okay.
And a disclaimer. So our good friend.
God, guys, this is actually really funny. And let this be a lesson to you that you must
read through the transcription.
Human intervention is responsible usage of AI. Okay.
Okay. So yesterday I posted a video about AI agents, and in the video, the transcription that I did not read all the way through, this is towards the end of the video, reads, so the other thing you can do with these is you can tie, and this is where the transcription goes AWOL, you can tie Asians, like the people from Asia, together and make them a team.
Completely inappropriate.
In the video, you can hear me say, in the video, you can hear me say agents with a G and a T, but the transcription and obviously my accent and pronunciation have failed me. So the transcriber in Descript wrote, I can tie Asians together and make them a team. Which thank you to the team over at Tracker for sending me the screenshot this morning and being like,
oh my God, Tracker sent that to you? That's amazing.
Yeah. They were like, Rob, we got some questions about your behavior.
Okay, so like I said, trust but verify. Human intervention is required before we rely completely on AI to do our jobs for us.
That was a good laugh. So I'm sorry that is out in the interwebs, and I'm not taking it down because I'm not that sorry. Anyway, we appreciate you guys.
Be a lesson to everybody out there.
Yeah.
You're a nut today.
It's still making me laugh. So by the way, that was why every time I said the word agent, which was a lot this episode, I was chuckling to myself because I knew this was coming and it was making me laugh. All right. Well, Lauren, this is fantastic. Go have a safe flight to Nashville. And then go see Allie in South Carolina. South Carolina.
Yep.
Enjoy Charleston. Let's go say hello to our friends Natasha Lee if you can. Wow. And thank y'all.
Bye.